Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to kind of talk about something I've wanted to talk about for a while now. And this is about basically making a short film. So, of course, I've been doing filmmaking for about 4-5-ish years now. And I got a chance to make my own short film in 2020, just before shutdown happened. So that's very, very fun. And if it wasn't for the people that were involved, it wouldn't have got made. And I'm very blessed. I'm very blessed to have them in my life. So, of course, the name of my film is Broken Boy. Broken Boy is about quite a few things, actually. Broken Boy is basically the story of a very young black man who goes on a blind date that was arranged by his friend, and it kind of goes wrong. The film goes into topics about SA and its commonality in the black community, in the black queer community. And honestly, whenever I first wrote it, I wrote it in 2019. Of course, I wrote it as a pitch for a class. And whenever I was writing it, I was originally writing it as just a pitch, as just something about, I wanted to talk about a blind date. But the more I kind of thought about it, the more I was like, we don't really talk about sexual assault in the black queer community, especially among black men, especially because you know how society always has a chokehold on the perceived masculinity of black men, especially if they're queer. So that's a whole nother subject that I do not want to get into right now. Not at all. But I was like, it can happen to anybody. I feel like anybody can have an interpretation and come up with like closure for the film. That's kind of what I was thinking along those lines whenever I was, writing it. Everything else is kind of like just happened to fall into place. I went to Sundance and I met a really cool person. His name is Brandon. He currently lives in Texas, and he helped me produce the short. And it was very awesome. And it was a great time having that cast there to basically elevate the words I've had. John Okoko, Sean Lauren, my friend Brad Reed, to screen. And it was the first time that I've ever seen my words that I wrote come to life like that. And it was just a very astounding and phenomenal moment. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I really wouldn't. With that out the way, I really wanted to kind of delve into, what I learned from it and some tips for other filmmakers for whenever they want to make their own short film or get their start in the industry. One, write your script, sis. As I was talking about before, as I stated in the intro, in the very, very long intro that hopefully people stayed on from, people don't really talk about, SA in that community, in the black queer community. So I felt like I really wanted to talk about it and bring awareness to that. And to just the fact that we, as black queer people, do not get much representation at all. Because you get crumbs. You get some crumbs of representation, and then it's just a very small role. Either that or we get killed off. Or we just get written off as some kind of blah, 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 blah. Or even worse, we end up like a white person or something. Like, it is not much showing black queer love in that way in at least mainstream media. So it's kind of like we have to make our own stuff in order to see ourselves. Of course. Get the best group of friends together who are of similar mindsets. I had this in mind, like I said, in 2019, just before, Miss Rona came into town. And it took me meeting Brendan in order for this film to get even made, because he saw something that he really wanted to help make, and he kind of kicked my butt about finishing the script about it. Well, even writing the script, because it was just a short story at first. It was like synopsis, and then he was like, "Oh no, you can turn this into a script." So he helped me with the script, and then I basically finished that part, and history was made. Even when you're having fun, learn set etiquette. I was lucky enough to be able to work on different short films prior to me making my own short film, so I was able to learn a little bit about how to run a set and how things are supposed to be run. A little bit of hierarchy, a little bit of how to direct, how to act, how to basically help have a set run, and how to delegate tasks to other people, especially in a setting where you're basically a director, part producer, a lot of times your own electric and grip department. So it's good to be able to learn all of that from other sets before translating it to your own set. So I got lucky with that, thank God. Be firm but fair in your vision. Ooh, this one I feel like is going to be a little bit more controversial, because a lot of people, whenever they write, they write where they come from, or write what they know, or want to, just write something that they feel like that should be seen. However, you have to write what you know. You have to write with what money you have on hand, what resources you have on hand. You have to be conscious of that every minute of the way. I honestly cannot stress this enough. Please write for what you have and what you know and what you can afford. Please do that. For example, Broken Boy, I wasn't in the best financial spot when Broken Boy was made. And my producer friend, Brandon, he basically had everything paid for. Broken Boy was probably shot and made for roughly $500, not even $1,000. And that was because we were able to shoot with what we knew, and kind of the script was very simple anyway, so it didn't really cost for that much, luckily. So it was very cheap on that regard. Most of the budget was spent on, crafty and securing locations. Don't give up, and don't hesitate to ask for help. Making a film is hard, y'all. Let me tell you that right now. Making a film is hard. Making a film is expensive at times. It's very time consuming, very stressful. Making your own projects is just like a whole bunch of stress, because there's so much that hinges on you, on your vision, on you having to call the shots. So it can lead to a lot of burnout, and burnout's real. As I stated in previous videos, burnout is real. The whole concept of the film industry is to make magic happen. And film is an inherently collaborative process. And especially when you're starting out, once you know something, of course don't give it out for free. Trade. Or, do something and be like, hey, let me work on your set as this, and can you work on my set as that? So, one example, when I worked on my friend Christy's web series, I basically helped as a lot. I was a lot of help on that, but of different things. One favor that basically kind of sealed the deal was that she can help me with working on a music video for a friend, and that was like kind of an exchange. So that was I guess you could say, equal exchange. And of course, we help each other a lot. Me and her, we go right back. Mahogany Media. Don't be discouraged when things don't go the way you want to. Things never go the way you really want to in film. That's a pipe dream right there. One heck of one if that goes your way. That's pretty much go on, sis. Like, if that things work out for you, then that is one hell of a draw. Like, that's really cool. If luck happens, please don't take it lightly. And this is where I go into everything that went into Broken Boy when it comes to its production. Well, everything post script. So we originally, it was supposed to be made for Louisiana Film Prize. That's what I kind of wanted it for. However, that would kind of conflicted with my vision, because whenever I was trying to cast people, I couldn't really find who I was looking for. I was specifically looking for Black queer folks to portray the role, especially Black queer men, because that was the subject matter involving Black queer men. In the area where I wanted to shoot at, it never really, I was never able to find anybody, at least at the time. So that kind of really sucked. So me and my friend Brendan, we kind of looked and we kind of configured it for a Sundance competition. It was like a Sundance student competition that we were involved in at the time. So we reconfigured it for that, and we wanted to shoot in March. So I was like, okay, cool, let's do it. We sent out a casting call, and then we got a plethora of auditions and requests to audition, and it was just phenomenal. And whenever we found all of our cast, it was just like, wow. As it turns out, I do not know where, but for some reason, I think it ended up on like All Casting or some kind of casting website. And that's where it got like a lot of professional actors coming in and auditioning for the film. And that's where you found Sean Lauren from Dallas and John Okoko from LA. And they both really wanted to be part of the project because of the subject matter. So they came in and it was awesome. We ended up shooting in Dallas because that's where Brendan was living at the time, and everything just kind of worked out like that. But if it wasn't for that mystery casting site or that post that got posted wherever, because it was posted on Facebook, I know that for sure, but I do not know where the other one came from. I don't know where the other site came from. I feel like if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't really have Broken Boy at all. And for Brendan, he's casted as Brendan, but he goes by Brad. So Brad, he basically helped me fill in a gap. There was like a role that I really couldn't fill because it was calling for someone taller, more cool. And Brad was that nigga. He was cool. He had that cool factor that I really wanted to have. So he came in last minute and helped me fill in a cast. So we have basically our whole cast ready to go. And funny enough, we shot everything in one day. Well, we had the whole weekend, but we shot everything that Sunday. So everybody came in Friday night. Saturday we rehearsed, and Sunday we shot. And a good thing about having more professional, like SAG eligible or SAG now actors, is that they can see things like within a script that you don't necessarily see as a writer sometimes. So they may come up with like a different interpretation of what you had in mind. And a lot of times it's really good to kind of take others' opinions, not too many others' opinions, but take others' opinions when it comes to, how something sounds, how something is said, like the line itself. So it is a collaborative process. Like I said, film is a collaborative process, and sometimes it takes everything coming together for you to realize, oh, there's some things that could be better. And maybe you need a rewrite. Maybe you just need to change one small thing. Sometimes a small thing is what is necessary for everything to come out awesome. Like, you have to remember that. Please remember that. We got everything shot, and then, funny enough, the Monday I drove back in town, that next day, Miss Rona came in and everything shut down. So I consider myself blessed and lucky in that regard. I really do, because who would have thought that I would be able to get a short film made right before shutdown. I just feel very lucky to be able to have such a great cast and crew. Like Mitch, the director of photography, like, he has been also a great help in making the visuals come alive. Aaron Rezik for providing cameras, Brandon providing his camera, the extras, everyone who pitched in to help with food or help with bringing the area, our set to life. My girl lady, my sister, I am just very grateful for all of that happening. I feel like everyone can take these thoughts into mind whenever you're making your film. I know most people will be like, oh, how to make a short film, write your script, get a camera, get great lights. People say that all the time. There are other YouTube videos you can see if you want to see the technical side of things. I mean, of course, watch mine. But these things, I feel like, are also just, you have to keep in mind whenever you're making your film, especially if it's your first film. I believe that if you take these things into mind, it could make a difference between having a very bad script, having a horrible time on set, making you burn out even quicker from the industry, and then having a great time on set. Everything's going smoothly, everything's going like boom, boom, boom. You're able to have great synergy with everybody involved. It invigorates your love of filmmaking, of the creative arts, of the creative process. It can make a difference. I think that's all for today. I've been having this on my mind for quite a while now, and it feels just so good to finally have clarity. Like, I had to script everything out, and it worked so well. I just found myself having easier time expressing my words whenever everything's already written out for me on a script. So until then, this is Jay from CISA Studios signing out. Of course, I have Host of Horrors, a horror podcast with me and my friend Heath, and we talk about horror themes based off predetermined themes of the month. Right now, we're kind of in the middle of a hiatus because we need to just record more episodes, but we just reached our 1 year anniversary, so hopefully big things are going to be happening for that. So stay tuned. We have a huge backlog of things, and you should listen. And of course, watch Broken Boy. Please do.